Megan has done a lot of work in this area over the years. Some really complex cases. In fact, it's quite fascinating how many cases over the years, how many times this has come up. Because a lot of organisations say, well, it's just happening everywhere else, it doesn't happen, it's not going to be relevant to my organisation. Well, discrimination issues are relevant to every organisation. Certainly, these very similar issues to this have been raised so many times with so many employers we've acted for over the years. Lou's always being the first question, always, actually. Have any of the lawyers got thoughts on that gender dysphoria issue around pay?
I wouldn't have thought, I wouldn't have compared it at all to cosmetic surgery.
No.
And as you say, if it's arising out of gender dysphoria or arising, would that perhaps in some way be seen as a medical condition, and therefore, I wouldn't have treated it as something that you'd necessarily take your holiday for. The case I dealt with, the lady hadn't taken the elective surgery, so I didn't deal with that particular point.
Yeah.
But yes, I think I would certainly not treat it as you would elective surgery, where people often take holidays, as you were saying, for elective surgery. I wouldn't treat it as that type of absence.
Go on, sorry.
Well, gender reassignment is a protected characteristic.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
You're going to say, well,
Yeah.
can't take the absence.
No, I think the fact that the protection emerges in law at the point at which you make a decision to begin that journey effectively. It doesn't emerge in law at the point of having surgery, or even at the point of deciding to be public about that. So it actually arises quite early. And the other factor there, of course, is holiday arrangements differ fairly dramatically from organisation to organisation, and what actually gets paid for sickness in many organisations is statutory sick pay in any event. So, to some extent, these issues probably are more likely to come up through the policy of an employer if they say that they will only pay for certain categories of surgery. But I guess our view, therefore, would be that if you treated it differently from a surgery that was for another recognised medical condition, then you would be on pretty ropey territory.
Out of interest, how long did you? I know you obviously weren't off at the time because you weren't. I think you weren't in employment, weren't you? You had your
No, I was unemployed at the time.
You were employed at the time, so
unemployed.
So, but how long did the surgery take, and then recovering from the surgery take?
I think in total it was about 6 months.
6 months. Wow.
So if you had been in employment in that time, you would have had to have taken that entire time off, or do you think you would have been able to work part-time, had a phased return?
I think I could have had a phased return within that time. But because I could give myself that amount of time, and I just got a huge redundancy payout.
Why work? Any other issues, questions that people would like to ask? Like either of Tabitha and Fiona or of the lawyers at the moment.
Can I just ask, when you faced the bigotry, did it come evenly from male and female colleagues, or was it more from male colleagues or more from female colleagues?
Do you know something surprisingly? It came from both.
From both?
Yeah.
Sort of equally almost?
It equaled out.
Yeah.
Especially when it came to the toilet issue.
That was driven by your female colleagues?
Actually, in our experience, most of the objections on the toilet issue, where the transition has been from male to female, almost all of the objections have come from female colleagues. I've dealt with this.
Isn't it?
Well, I say I know. I think it is very interesting that certainly as a male lawyer, you sit there and you think, what? You're all in cubicles. But yeah. So I think it's been a really fascinating session, and I think it's very, very much appreciate the time you've given and the candour, the openness of sharing your thoughts. I think one thing that really struck me was the exposure to gender difference, which is what the same person experiences as a man and then experiences as a woman, and that really comes up actually, to be honest, and that highlights something, which is that you said earlier as well, you were most successful when you didn't have a lot to lose, which was when you already had a job in the bag, and in a way that's kind of the essence of discrimination, isn't it? Which is domination in a situation by a person where another person has more to lose, and we can all experience that at different times, and we can all counter that in the way we behave, and culturally, how as an organisation are we ever going to get real value out of people, the best we can get out of people, if some people are in a position to dominate others so that actually they won't take sensible, reasonable risk. We want workforces that are prepared to take risk, take measured risk, sensible risk, and to pick up a challenge. And if individuals feel dominated by others in the workforce, even just by gender alone, then you're not going to get the best out of people, and that's fascinating and really challenging.